While we have a lot of politics at play, there was something that happened just yesterday in Washington, D.C. I wanted to show it to you. It was a day of prayer. And I didn't really know that much about this. Apologies to those that maybe were a part of it or knew about it going into it. I didn't know too much about this event. And when I saw the director of national intelligence come out with a video that she put on social media about it, I was like, wait a minute, is this real? Let me just play part of the video.
250 years ago today, on May 17th, 1776, the Second Continental Congress called for a day of humility, fasting, and prayer. Just weeks before they declared independence, our founders didn't stride forward in pride. They knelt. They asked for God's mercy. They asked for his guidance because they knew that the cause before them was beyond their own strength. Now, today, exactly 250 years later, we gather here on the National Mall to do the same, to give thanks, to ask for forgiveness, and to humbly ask once more for God's mercy and guidance as we enter the next 250 years of this republic.
Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard there. So she went on a little further. And so this is why May 17th was chosen. And I thought, is that real? You can't help but ask these questions, guys, right? There's so much coming at us. I thought, is May 17th, 1776, is that a date that I completely missed? And the answer is yes. Actually, it was a date that I completely missed. But the reality is even more curious than that. Let me see if I could pull up one of these images that I have for you, which is an image from the Library of Congress, which is from May 16th, 1776. John Hancock wrote this, and it was calling for a day of prayer and fasting and reflection, just like the director of national intelligence summarized for us. And this actually took place at a pretty regular cadence throughout the colonies, as there was a feeling very clearly in this time that war was on the horizon. And can you imagine the feeling in communities of something foreboding that's coming? You know, at this time in 1776, you got to think back in 1775. I mean, there was already battles that had been fought with the British. It wasn't a peaceful period, and you had these founders meeting in Pennsylvania and Philadelphia, committing treason, essentially. And those that supported them, or certainly did not speak out against them, could also be committing treason. And so this is several weeks away from the official Declaration of Independence. Although, as I was researching this, there were different moments where different founders thought that they had actually declared independence, that they were already there. But we look at July 2nd, 3rd, 4th, obviously, as that period for our country. But this is true. This is real. This took place. And the leaders in these communities were encouraging the public to reflect on their situations, to essentially confess their sins, and to have a moment of meditation, for lack of a better term. We could prayer, meditation, reflection about where they were in the moment, where they come from in the past, and where they were going in the future. Very interesting to know that that was an American tradition, and to see what traditions have been carried forward and which traditions have gotten lost along the way. So I was just sort of fascinated with the fact that this actually happened. And through all my different research throughout the years for Smarter News and otherwise, I mean, here I've been a journalist for more than 20 years and always look to weave history into our coverage. I didn't really know that much about this story. So I'll make sure to put this in the show notes. You can actually read the whole piece by John Hancock, what is being encouraged for the public. And you might find it interesting, especially as we're marking this special anniversary. So I thought you might enjoy that. It also gives us a little bit of a moment of reflection ourselves away from the politics. There's a little bit of controversy, by the way. I say a little, as you know, it could be a lot, it could be a little. There was controversy around this event that was a prayer event on the National Mall supported by the administration because most of the leaders were Christian. It wasn't a multi-denominational event of prayer. It was very specifically dominated by Christian leaders. And so there was some question about whether or not there was a violation of church and state, um, but it didn't stop the event from happening. And there apparently was one Jewish leader that spoke, but most of the speakers were from a Christian background. And so some will argue, well, that is also the foundation of America, that there was a background in prayer and Christianity. But as you know, these debates come up periodically about the mixing of government and prayer. So that was part of this event a little bit as well. But it did take place. Thousands of people apparently showed up at the National Mall. And this is part of the events leading up to marking America 250, which we expect in a few weeks. We're almost there.